Welcome, everybody, to the Level Up Show. I'm your host, Sean T. McIntyre. Today, we have an incredible guest coming all the way from the United Kingdom. He is the three-time World Fitness Model Champion, sponsor, pro athlete, stuntman, actor. I want to welcome to the show the very talented Williams Falade. Welcome to the show, Williams.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good to be here, man. That was a hell
Oh,
of an introduction. Thank you.
oh my gosh. It is pretty easy with pretty easy with you. So,
Yeah.
I love synchronistic events. And it wasn't too long ago. I was talking with Sean Stafford, and we had him on here as well. And it was in talking to Sean, you came up, and it was funny. I reached out to you, and you're like, "Hey, like, wow, I was just thinking, what's going on with everybody?" And
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
competing, and so synchronistic moments. I love it. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I am good. I'm good. I'm actually right smack bang in the middle of a house move, but it's all good. Yeah, literally just got the
Well,
key yesterday.
and thank you for joining us. I know it's the evening over there in the UK, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Love
And
it.
it's UK weather, pouring with rain outside.
Okay. No, that's true. That is true. Williams, one of the things and one of the reasons why I love this opportunity to talk to you is I find that there's such a difference between the world champions, how they think, how they approach everything as far as mindset and attention to detail. Would you agree that those are probably some strong suits that you have?
100%, yeah. Attention to detail, that's the big one. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
I love that. This is, I actually work with some doctors and nutritionists, and I love having this conversation with you because the medical and the nutrition, it's different when we're talking about taking yourself to an extreme level of high performance. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
What do you find for you
Mm.
is is different as far as how you approach nutrition and even working with your body compared to what you just see out there with people who are just trying to get into shape, not to draw a correlation of, one is better than the other, but there's a progression, right?
Yeah, and do you know what? To be fair, I'm kind of like the anomaly because when it comes to nutrition, I eat to maintain. I've never found enjoyment in food. And I think that's been me since from a very young age. I went to boarding school. We got the meals that we had, and that was it. There was no, I wouldn't sit there and fantasize over a cheesecake or anything like that. And I think that's kind of where I feel like I differ to the
Yeah.
majority of people. I haven't got that trigger in the back of my head that will make me eat something that is untowards. Let everything that goes in my body, it just happens to be healthy food, rice, vegetables, chicken, meat, that's what my body loves. And I haven't got a craving for anything outside of that, if that
And
makes sense.
a
Yeah.
thousand percent, a thousand percent. So I love what you're saying, Williams, because I grew up sort of on both ends of the spectrum. I grew up with, oh my gosh, I was actually unhealthy when I was younger, and I learned through being not in health, not being in shape,
Yeah.
to then going and seeing the difference that food had on my body. And
Hmm.
so I totally relate with what you're saying in the fact that, whoa, there's a massive difference in just food, how we feel in our body. And that is like a massive distinction. So when you were growing up, you said you were in boarding school. How important would you say discipline and commitment is to achieving great results in anything we do?
Ooh, that's definitely something I learned in boarding school. Like I was speaking to someone about it the other day. The culture that was built around boarding school was a culture of excellence. You know,
Mm.
if you were that person that was messing around and, going astray, you weren't seen as cool. No one liked you. Do you know what I mean? If you were the academic, you were the top five of your class, the class captain, a school prefect, then that's when you got the respect of people. That's when people liked you. And it kind of made you just naturally want to go in that direction. You
Yes,
know, the need to just want to do everything right. And, you know, if it's wrong, you don't get looked at. If it's right, everyone loves you. You adopt that, and it just goes into everything in life, you know, everything.
I love that. I agree. I totally agree. So is that also, you talked about culture and environment. Is that also how you were raised with your parents, or did you learn that from boarding school and from your peers that it's like greatness? Wow.
I think the majority of it came from boarding school. When you live with your parents they have this love for you. You know,
Yeah.
they grow up trying to look after you, and then you might get some parents that literally they don't know that they're doing bad for their child by giving them everything. You know, I didn't necessarily have those kind of parents. I was always, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have that? She was like, no. So, but when I got to boarding school, I think it was a case of um, appreciating what you do have because we didn't have loads. We didn't have loads, but you end up appreciating things, and then when you get more, if you're a grounded person, you remember those times
Oh
when
my gosh.
you didn't
I
have.
love that, Williams. You
Yeah.
know, oh my gosh. My experience being around you in the years that we competed, on the pro level and the world stages and stuff like that, I always found you were focused, but you were very approachable. To me, I found you as you valued quality, you valued, and that was your focus. And I could feel that. And so I just want to acknowledge that because that has a that's very alluring and that's very magnetic in its own way to demonstrate greatness. So yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. You were nominated Trainer of the Year. I imagine that you've probably dealt with some people who maybe didn't have the discipline or they might even struggle with food.
Um, I find that with a lot of people, that's a quite a when it comes to the gym life,
Yeah.
everyone can train, everyone can move their body, but
Yes.
the major difference is the discipline and the mindset towards the nutrition when they leave that gym. I see us. I've worked in gyms for a good 20 years now, and my members. I can see the ones that change and the ones that don't change. I've had members that have been there for 15 years and still haven't changed. They're training every day though. So why is
Yeah.
that? It's the nutrition. But I believe that we're getting into the realm of this world where people are starting to realize that, and it isn't just about running, going for a run or lifting heavy weights. I think a lot of people are becoming aware that the majority of your health and just the way you look is down to nutrition. And the more we can build that awareness, even better.
Absolutely.
You know.
Oh my gosh. It's a fundamental building block, right? To
And it's
every
so hard. People think that nutrition is just a thing. It's really hard. I say like with my clients, they find the nutrition part of it harder than the training because it's psychological. What happens when you look at a donut and you're like, oh, I really want that, but and then like a part of life will tell you, I deserve that. I'm human, I'm living, I can't, and then you just, there's so many things that can lead you to actually grabbing that donut as opposed to the opposite, you know?
I love this. I love this. It reminds me of something that I talk about even with some of the corporate work I do. We have this one day we go into the lunchroom and there's like donuts on one side, and, cookies, and then there's like vegetables and on the other side. And it's amazing. People are like, "Well, freedom is I should be able to eat how I want." And it's like, okay, well, interesting.
Hmm.
But are you free to not eat that cookies and cakes and donuts? Like, are you free not to eat it and eat that? Or is it driving you? Right.
Yes,
I
yes.
love what you said, Williams, as far as the psychological food
Yeah,
is psychological.
100%, 100%. And I always say there is a way to tackle that. Like with all my clients, what I say to them is, when they're like, "Oh, I have a craving for this, and I gotta eat that, and I gotta eat that," I say, "Do you know what? You can, but the big thing, the major thing is quantity.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing for me. When I was a child, yeah, my parents, they would give me, they would, I would come back from school, they'd give me a cup of tea. I'm not sure how it is where you guys are from, but in England, we have a cup of tea and a biscuit, two or three biscuits. And we will love it. That's we're looking forward to that when we come back, the tea and biscuits. But then as soon as you get to this age of like, 16, 18, when you start making your own money,
Yes.
that two biscuits becomes the whole packet. Why do you have to eat the whole packet in one sitting? What happened to just eating two biscuits and enjoying it, still having the feeling of eating that biscuit? And I think that's where a lot of people fail. It's not a case of, because I'll have a chocolate bar. Does that make sense? I'm not this strict diet person that won't touch cake or won't touch this. But people will be like, "What is that all you're having?" And I'm like, "That's all. That's yeah. I've tasted it. I've enjoyed it. I do not need to eat the whole bucket for me to say I've eaten this thing. And I think that's where the big one comes in, quantity. Where people just need to just bring it down a bit. You can still enjoy food without having tons of it. You know?
It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, on that note, Williams, one of the things that I hear, and you might hear this too, is people who sort of struggle with the food, they're like, yeah, but that food was made with love.
Hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, I must eat it because then I don't want to disappoint people. Again, coming back to culture and environment, as far as
Yeah. Yeah.
don't leave your plate empty, all of these things. Do you find that there's those sorts of mindsets that
It,
you're having to train people or bring awareness to them when it comes to food?
Yeah and no. I don't really get a lot of people that feel like, they have to eat to be nice. I've never had that. I'll go to someone's house and I'll leave half of the food in the plate. And now that you're saying it, I've never actually thought whether they were offended by that or not. But to me, it's you've given me enough food for me to fill my belly, and there's
Yeah.
still left over. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing it as I'm being rude, leaving this behind. Like, if I'm pulling faces while I'm eating, like it's not nice, then But if I'm enjoying it and you can see that I'm enjoying it, I don't feel like I'm under pressure to finish it, you know.
I
And
love that.
yeah, you've
I
just got
love
to
that.
take control of yourself. Be
Love that.
comfortable in
Yeah.
yourself. That's it. Just be comfortable in yourself.
Okay. You're knocking this out of the park, Williams, because that was where I wanted to go next. It's this relationship that we have with our body as far as what feels good, what's actually nourishing, and you said to take control of your own self, your own life, your own body. How important do you feel it is to have that relationship with your body no matter what the outside world is doing?
It's the most important thing. There's nothing else. If you're not in control of yourself, then someone else is. or
Yeah.
something else is, you know? And
Yes.
discipline, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying wake up tomorrow and be disciplined. Discipline is hard. It's time consuming. It's something that you have to work on. Like the muscles in our body, you have to work on it. But it's finding something that will give you the drive to be able to, work on your discipline to get to that spot. So for me, it's what what's passionate enough for you to say, you know what, I'm going to work on my discipline for this specific goal, and it's just finding that goal. Once you can, then the work is still going to be hard, but the vision will carry you through it.
Right. Right, 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 right.
Mm.
You said something key, which is I hear passion is a big thing. You got to find something that sparks you.
Mm. Hmm.
Would you say that in the beginning, even when you were competing, how important was passion to getting you started and keeping you in the game, even when it came to competing?
Listen, the whole competition was based from love. Literally, if I didn't love it, come on, it's not like I jumped on stage and I got world champion straight away. I took a few hits,
Yes.
a few hits around different parts of in different parts of the world. I took some hits, and when we're competing, we have that mindset of, you know what, I trained really hard. I went through it. I should be the best here. I should get it. But there is that thing of only one person can win, and my passion for what I was doing at the time allowed me to understand that. There was times when they would come to me and they'll say, "Oh, Will, you're the winner. You're gonna win this year. You're gonna win." And I'll be like, "I don't think so." And they'll be like, "Oh, and who else would it?" And then we'll literally get on stage. Will came second, and then people will be like, "Oh, you know what? This guy's not gonna come back." But I was like, I'm not in it for this. I'm in it for the love. I love this whole process. That's why, you could have made me fifth place. I would have still come back. And it was all about the love of the process of what I was doing at the time, you know? It wasn't, I'm trying to be number one in the world. I wasn't trying to be number one in the world. I was literally just going with the flow of what I love, around the people I love, same mindsets. Everyone's looking for the same thing, and who knows? You can find a life friend through that all. That's why I was there.
Bingo. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that, man. To s- to say the process is sacred. To say the process is where it's all at. How many people do you see or do you notice in all realms, whether it's business, because we've got high achievers and performers, listening and watching right now. And there's certain aspects that we've been taught: make a goal, focus on the goal, right? Which is it can come down to a number on the scale. It can come down to a number in your bank account. It
Mm.
could, right? So how important is that balance between the process and focusing on the end result?
um, I was just about to say, I was going to say you have to enjoy the whole process, but there was times when I didn't enjoy the process. When I did have the mindset of, you know what, I've got to do this because I've got to reach this goal.
Right.
So
Yeah.
perfect example. Perfect example. I despise. I'll use that word despise. I despise sweet potatoes. Yeah. But for some reason, every single coach that I've got with decided that they wanted to throw that into my diet. Yeah. Now, I would have to eat sweet potatoes twice a day. Yeah. For me, that wasn't enjoyable, but I did it. I put myself through it because I knew that this is what was required for me to get from A to B. Does that make sense? So it's a
Absolutely.
mixture of the two. You have to enjoy what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to find that level of discipline that would make you jump over that line to say, you know what, this is it. This is where I need to be. Okay, I don't like sweet potatoes. Is it really going to kill me? No, it's not. Is it going to get me there? Yes, it is. Let's do
Mm.
it. That's how I see it.
I love that because I was going to go into that with you in the process, and you just answered it. But in the process, to have some of those mental battles, maybe there was, did you, on top of, I didn't like it, it was uncomfortable, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I may not like it in the
Yeah.
moment. Did you also have any mental doubts or inner battles where, as you saw yourself changing, that all of a sudden your mind or your emotions would talk to you or feel different, sort of like there were different phases along that process that you had to sort of handle or battle?
No, I was literally, as you're saying that, I was trying to think. No, I never went through that. Literally, the whole process to me was it was exciting, you know. Um, I think when it comes to competing, people get into it for different reasons.
Yes.
You know, some people they it's a goal for them. You know, they might have been overweight, and now to be able to shred down and be on stage next, that's the ultimate goal. You know, I've never been in that position, but I can imagine if I was, that would be something for me. You know, whereas for me, when I started competing, it wasn't something that I was necessarily interested in at the time. I had a group of bodybuilders just move into my house, and they just started plastering bodybuilding on my TV 24/7. And they kind of forced me to get into it. But for me, it was a curiosity of where I can take myself. It wasn't to compete against anyone else. It wasn't to see. It was like I remember seeing an athlete in my gym walk past, and to me, I trained my whole life, but I never looked like this guy. So it was a curiosity thing. It was, excuse me, sir. I've trained my whole life. Why do you look like that and I look like this? And he said nutrition. So I said, really? I never knew that. So the whole competing thing was just kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? The competing thing was something to hold on to while I was exploring nutrition.
Mm.
If that
So
makes
it was
sense.
almost like a reason to get into and test
Yes.
nutrition.
Yes. And test nutrition. That's why I got into it. My second show, when I done my first show, that was it. My coach was like, "What are you talking about? No, you're going again." And I was like, "No, to me it was the nutrition. I've got my body to how I want it to look through nutrition now." But he was like, "Yeah, but you've done really well at it, so carry on competing." For me, the whole thing from beginning was about nutrition and how do I use nutrition to get my body to the next level. That's what it was all about.
This is such a valuable conversation because I hear the word transformation when you with what you're saying right now. I'll give you an example. Um, when I was writing my first book, I remember struggling. It was like, okay, I'm gonna do it this way. Here's how I'm gonna, write an hour a day. I'm going to get the book done. I'm going to make it happen. And then all of a sudden, you know how you get like little flashes of insights, and it's like, no, the book is already done. Like it's already there. I can see it. But Sean, as you show up and transform, then the book will write itself through you as you
Yes.
transform. And that was such
Mhm.
a mental shift for me. It's like instead of trying to just do the nutrition, it's like, no, it's how are we going to transform ourselves
Mhm.
in the process of nutrition or writing the book, or how is this relationship going to transform me?
Yeah,
You
that's
agree
it.
with that? That's
That's it. Yes.
transformation?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I love what you're saying because it's like these principles just align.
Mm, mm,
That's I love that. When we're talking about transformation, would you say, I want to come back to just commitment and discipline for a minute.
mhm.
There's times where it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, even in the beginning, where it's like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the process of, okay, here's the goal, here's what I want to do. There's a curiosity, there's a passion. Would you say there's a difference, though, in commitment and discipline? Because what I take with you is commitment and discipline is not even a conscious thing. It's just who you are now. It's you're not even
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's this is me as a person. I don't think about being disciplined or anything like that. Plus, the people I'm around as well, they
Mm,
just everyone's just disciplined. Everyone just, it's hard to think how not to be disciplined. That's the hard part. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel as I'm getting older as well, I'm getting wiser, and each thing that we learn, we form it into ourselves, and we become this ultimate person. I think that's what it's happening with me. You know, it was just like the nutrition side of things. When people were saying to me, "Oh, Will, how do you find it eating?" I was like, I'm on the opposite end in the sense of I had to force myself to eat as
mm,
opposed to stop myself from eating things. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So yeah, so it's does that come under discipline? I don't know, you know, but it's you have to have it in order for you have to have that feeling and want to overcome it to know whether you're disciplined or not. And I just feel like I've just always thought the right way, and people, the way I think people have always seen it as disciplined. You know?
Yes,
Mm.
that's a I love how you said that. It's you're being you. It's you have this innate way of being now, and the outside world might call you disciplined and committed. Oh my gosh, how are you so disciplined and committed?
Yeah,
I could, right?
I don't know how to explain it. I'm just me.
It's you. Yes, 1,000%. So let me ask you the next question, Williams, and I love where this is going. Would you say that how important is transformation for you now with where you are and where you're going next?
uh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. How important is transformation for me? To transform into what I want to do is extremely important. Um, you need to, and transformation isn't one thing. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
you can transform so many times through life
Yes.
with different situations. You know what I mean? Like I had to transform to become a world champion. Now that I've
Yes.
got into TV, I'm going for a whole nother level of transformation. You know, um, just to me, it's just another level. And but it's still a transformation. And who knows? After this, I might have to transform for something else. You know,
Yes.
but no, but having that process and being able to deal with that process is what is good if you learn it at a good time in your life, I believe. You know.
Would you say that, and I'm sort of setting you up here, okay? So bear with me.
Mhm.
And if we don't transform, this is where we can face a lot of challenges, whether it be depression, um, cravings of certain foods. Do you think that one of the medicines in life to really move forward and have discipline on your side and commitment on your side is you have to be willing to transform and keep transforming no matter where you are?
That's it. That's it. 100%. You have to be able to adapt. The body is the most adaptable thing ever. I have this one saying. Everyone that knows me will know that I say this. You grow through what you go through. Do you understand? Your body adapts to everything that you put it through. Whether it's stressful in the beginning, whether it's strainful, your body will adapt. You will transform. So you have to constantly keep making yourself transform. And that's how you grow. Transformation is one of the biggest keys to growth.
Oh my gosh. And happiness, I found,
Yes. Oh
and
yeah.
fulfillment and purpose.
Hmm. Yep. Definitely.
You know, I don't know if you hear it with where you're at in the UK. I know it's a worldwide thing, but there seems to be a few things that I've heard and I found it really interesting. And there's we deal with some I deal with some spiritual communities as well and faith and um there seems to be some little pockets that I've been getting a lot of questions on that, well, if it is hard and if it's uncomfortable, doesn't it mean that that's wrong and that we should have a life in flow and ease and grace? And I found that really interesting.
That is interesting.
And, you know, I understand because there's moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really challenging. You know, we've all gone through challenges. I've gone through challenges of, a couple divorces and kids, and there's some things that are like, oh my gosh, this is a big challenge. But I think that we are meant and we're created to do hard, not just to keep things hard, but to transform. We're meant to do hard.
Yes.
Would you agree?
That is 100% spot on. You know, I've that's what you're saying right now is I preach this. I always preach this. You know, you have to you have to challenge us. You can't move forward without a challenge. Your body, your mind, everything about you can never change unless something challenges you. There's a reason why we have sayings like pressure builds diamonds and things like that. There's a reason for that. You know,
Yes.
if you're an idle person and there's no challenges in your life, it leads to depression, I believe. You know, it does lead to depression
Yes.
because I find I put up a post a couple of weeks ago saying that, I got into a car accident and I was in bed for 5 weeks, just laying there. There was nothing challenging. There was nothing to, aspire to doing. And it just sent me straight into a depression. Just the fact that I wasn't putting myself through daily challenges and daily life, and you know, to me, that's why we're here. That's the ultimate. That's growth. You can't just be idle and have nothing to press you and be up against you. That that to me, I don't even know how to explain that because my life has always been mm, mm, roll with the punches, go through it, go through it, go through it. And, you know, people will look at my life, aspects of my life, and say, man, I feel sorry for you. That was so hard for you. No, no, no. Let me tell you something right now. I have the most blessed life.
Mm.
I wouldn't ask for another life.
Oh,
Through all the trials and tribulations that I've been through, where I'm at in my life right now is God's blessing. That's it, you know.
yes.
And that's through challenge. That's just through me constantly going through these challenges. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There's so many sayings that
Yes.
that, that indicate.
Yes. Oh, that
So,
is that is gold, my friend. That is gold. To hear it from you, that is gold. As you're saying, I just hear if you're not growing, you're dying.
that's it. Yeah, see, another one. If you're not growing, you're dying. Simple. And growth isn't just about the body. It's about the mental, and you have to be willing to grow as well. We're very we can be very within ourselves, you know, our beliefs, we're strong on our beliefs. If we're like that, that also is a wall for not growth. You have to be open minded. You have to be prepared to say, you know what, I was wrong. What I did, what I thought I knew was wrong. I can learn new things. If we haven't got the mindset to do that, then it's never going to happen. You have to be able to subdue and submit and come back within yourself and know that, there is still room for growth within you. You don't know everything. There is more to learn. There is always things to learn, even if it's from someone that hasn't been in this world longer than you. Life experiences teach you different things. And the more you absorb from people, mm, the more you
Oh,
as a person, mm,
I
you
love
become a
that.
beautiful person.
I love that. Those words like really resonate, Williams. Like
Mm,
sub submit,
mm,
right? That's a level of humility. It's like, okay,
mm,
now what can I learn here?
mm,
It's not even, you know, and sometimes I find myself there. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. But it's like, all right, well, what can I find out? What can I learn? What can I do? How can I overcome this? Right? It takes a little bit of digging, but
mm,
yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Well said. That's
mm.
that's incredible. Williams, I'm very curious about what part does entertainment and fun come into your life as far as, oh, I need to go and I need to entertain myself. I need to, you know, go to the bar or to a movie and a night out. How does something like that look in your life?
It's kind of obsolete, to be fair. Um, I don't have these things. I don't have these thoughts. Like, I don't have a thought to go and watch a movie to make myself feel better or go and have a meal or go. I think I'm past that, Sean. I really do think I'm past that. What do I do in my pastime when I'm not doing anything? Um, I'm on my computer, probably reading something. But for me to say, oh, I need this to make me feel like this, I haven't got that at all.
You know what? I love your honesty. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
It's like,
I might come across a bit boring, but it's like, yeah, I just haven't got it. I just,
you, you know what I love? Like you're laughing, you're smiling, you're enjoying yourself. You're in joy
Mm,
in yourself. You're already in joy. You're already
that's it.
in
Yeah,
passion. It's
that's
like,
it.
isn't that what growth does? Is it allows us to find the joy in here?
You know what? Spot on. Spot on. It's funny because how I've always felt, you're putting it into words today, which I find is completely incredible. It's so true. I don't feel like I have to create enjoyment for myself. I am happy within myself. I'm happy with whatever I'm doing at the time. Right now I'm doing a house move. I'm putting chairs and sofas together. I love that stuff. It might be boring to some people. I love that stuff. Things that I can do that make me think while I'm doing it. I love things like that as well, you know. And I think that's down to my parents.
Mm,
They gave me a lot of housework, a lot of house chores, a lot of things. And while I was doing those things, I was in my thoughts. So if I'm hoovering the house, you know, my parents, we had a 10-bedroom house, by the way. It would take probably half a day to hoover the entire house. If you build this thing where you just go into your thoughts, and if you've got good thoughts and you've got positive thoughts and you've got thoughts that make you move forward, those are the best times, because that's when you're so in tune with yourself, and you're having these conversations, and the next step, the next, what needs to be done. It's just doing normal everyday things that I love, that makes me reflect on things like that. you know
you know, Williams, this is how I know you're speaking from a level of mastery, quite honestly. And that's why this is literally no, like, I heard this saying and you talked about reading, but I know this saying and it's like it came from Krishnamurti. And
Mm,
one of the questions was, how'd you become a master? And he said, you know what? I got to this point where I never minded what happened to me.
Mm.
Like, could you imagine not minding what happened to you and you just were able to like move through, rise above, handle it, bring it on? I'm like, and literally, that's what I hear and feel from you is is those qualities of like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good in myself. And that's what I think is so important for everybody to hear and to feel. It's like that's what growth and transformation does for us.
Mhm.
It it creates the mind, it creates the heart, the passion, the energy. And I'm like, wow, Williams, like you're delivering real gold here. So thank you for sharing your experiences. Oh my gosh.
No, that's it. It's just experiences. It's literally life. You know, I find that yeah, you go through hardships in life,
Yeah,
but the more you go through those hardships and the more you can like come out of it, even even if it doesn't go your way, it might not necessarily come out of it in a good way, but if you can learn something from each hardship that you've come out of, that is one step to mastering yourself, I think. you
I
know
love I love
Mm.
that. If you were to give us a little, because this is phenomenal what you're speaking of and pointing at. It literally is a world-class level. Again, so thank you. If we were to look at your day and how you wake up, how you handle your day, how you even prepare yourself to go to bed, um, what would you say are some of the non-negotiable rituals that really it's just it's who you are, it's what you do, it makes you come alive. It's just like, nope, this works, period, over and out.
Mm. I talk to myself a lot. um some people say that's talking to God.
Mm,
um so I do talk to God quite a lot. um
I love that.
I don't worry. That's one thing I find. I find a lot of people around me worry. They worry about a lot of things, and I'm like, I'm not. That's I'm like, it will be fine. Like I always have this thing of it will be fine in my head, no matter what. And I think that's based on life. That is based on you know being in the crappiest situation and still being able to sit down with someone like yourself and have a conversation today. Being able to do that, I think it just, you get to this stage where you're just not worried about things and you just have this certain calm about you. I think that's where I'm at, you know. Um, yeah, I'm still learning, I feel like I'm the people that are around me are different as well now, but the people that are around me are different because I feel like I have something to learn from them.
Mm,
Does that make sense? Like, so everyone around me is a teacher. Everyone, everyone around me is a teacher, whether they know it or not. And that's yeah, just putting my thoughts into words right now is very insightful, Sean. It's very insightful, but it's the truth. Everyone around me is the teacher. And when I think about it now, it's yeah, I try to get something from every single person, a good quality from every single person that I feel if I don't have it, I'm hanging around you. I'm learning.
mm. I love that. You know what I also hear you saying is you're you're looking for the good. You're looking for the greatness in people and everything around you.
hmm hmm Yes,
That right there
100%.
is such a quality, Williams, versus, oh, I didn't like what that person did there. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, versus, no, no, what is here? Like what
hmm
like that, that's what I hear. And I'm like, that's phenomenal. That is a power. And even when I feel on you, is you have a power that's rooted in peace. Like there's a peace to you. And That's a very powerful place, isn't it, to have peace?
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It can be frustrating sometimes because you find that you're around a lot of people that don't have peace, and
Mm.
you don't know how to get them there. You don't know how to change that for them. So that can be quite a frustrating thing in life. Um, yeah, well, I find, when you see, it's almost like you have a child, and your child's doing something that you did when you were a kid, but you don't know. You want them to learn at the same time, and you don't want to be over them and tell them what to do, but at the same time, you want them to have that lesson. I think that's where I'm at in a sense of, you know, I just, yeah, I find myself around people, and I want them to have that peace of mind. I want them to know, but how do you put that into a package and say, this is what you need to do in order for you to find your self happiness and your self growth? I don't know how to do that. So I find
Wow.
yeah, it's a strange one for me at the moment. It is a strange one.
That's, but I find that very humble about you, where you're like, wow, okay, this is interesting. This is something that I want to help. So I hear you. It's like you want to serve, and that is quite a phenomenon, I feel, because there can be some times where people can come across as preaching.
Hmm.
That's not that's not you. That's not you. I don't feel that on you. I don't see that on you, even from, our interactions. And it's like there's a humility about you that you want to serve and help others. Would you agree with that? You want to be of service to people at the same time?
Yeah, 100%. You we grow together and I find, not to speak any bad form of, the fitness industry. I
Yep.
didn't find that a lot in the industry. People that kind of want to help each other, but it's true. But I get it. We're in a competitive world. Everyone is. It's about me, 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 me. How can I? In a competitive world, everyone's trying to beat the next person. Everyone wants to be number one. And for me, that wasn't my mindset. So it was hard being around a lot of people like that.
I agree.
you know, yeah. Whereas I'm looking at this person saying, "Oh, you know what? That person's abs are 10 times better than mine. What? Hey, how are you? Let's have a sit down. Oh no, you're a world champ. You really, I don't know it. Please, I really do. That's the world I found myself in when it came to, the competition world, but it's understandable. It is the competition world, you know. Hence why people say to me today, why are you still not competing? I don't know. A lot of the people I competed with before left. And to me, it was an enjoyment thing. It was a passion thing. It wasn't me chasing a trophy. So as
Yeah.
soon as everyone that was around me and everyone that built that thing was no longer there, it was no longer love for me. So
Yeah.
it was time to transform to the next to the next thing.
Absolutely. And you're touching on something here, is would you say that there's a time and a space, meaning, okay, I'm competing and it has like a window, and you're in that window and you're in it and you're growing and you're transforming, and then that window closes and something else does present itself.
Hmm.
And it's,
Hmm.
how do I keep moving? It's okay to end that. It's okay to end
Yeah.
that and to move on to something else. How
Yes.
important do you think that that is for our growth?
The way I see it is you can never, whatever you've, took time into mastering, you can never fully let go of it. It becomes part of you,
It's
but it
true.
is okay to accept that it's now part of you, and it doesn't have to be where your mindset is always going, and there's something else now that can be a part of you that will make you even better, and add to that package and add to everything, and will make you, you know 10 times the person you were before. So the competing thing, yes, it was a good part of our lives. It helped us learn. It helped us learn how to follow something.
Yeah.
How to stick with something. That these are lessons that were learned within the competitive world. But there's still more lessons outside of that to be learned through different things, through loads of different things. And what I'm doing right now, I'm doing loads of different things, by the way. And each thing that I'm doing is literally filling me with knowledge, that I would never have had before.
So I love that, and I so agree with you. If
Mm.
we can just sort of move there, and this is what is it that you got going on now? Because I totally agree. There's an energy in a certain phase, and then the energy sort of, it just moves on. It just does. I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's,
yeah.
our human life too.
Mm.
We just move on. There's something else. So what is it now that you're moving into that's challenging you find is your transformative edge here?
Well, what a lot of people see me doing right now is a lot of, stunt work, spact work. But what I'm doing a lot of, funny enough, behind the closed doors as well, is construction work. So I've just built my first 5-bedroom house, yeah, um, from scratch,
Awesome.
and to me, that was something that, you know, I've always spent my whole life building my body. Now I get to learn the aspects and the fundamentals of building a house. That's the principles are the same, but they're not. The challenges are so different, but it's still stimulating. It's still, there's still things to learn. There's still things, they say, oh, you've mastered your body now. There's nothing, there's nothing left to learn with the, oh, yes, there is. There still is. But however, now I'm mastering how to make buildings. Don't get me wrong, the TV stuff that I'm doing is a passion that I've always had since I was a child. Yeah, that was inevitable. That was something that I dived into, left, and then came back into again after mastering other things along the way. You know what I mean? So yeah, like everything I do is part of life. Who knows? You might even see me on stage again. you know, because
Right.
everything that I go through is just I don't see it as a challenge. I don't see it as I see it as it's now it's normal. It's where people say a prep is hard.
Yep.
If I'm not prepping, that's I'm not living. Does that make sense? Like I'm very
So
regimental in how I eat and things like that. And if I'm not doing that, something's wrong. But other people see that as, oh no, that's a discipline. Like, I was training the other day in the gym and the guy said to me, oh, you're doing another show. I said, no, I'm just training. And they were like, but you're training so hard. And I said, but that's all I know. But that's going through life. And that's what, it makes you, you end up just being this person that life teaches you things and you just naturally end up doing it without having to try, you know?
you know I love what you're saying, Williams, again, because it's like everything you're doing, it's all related, it's all linked, it's all a part of who you are, like your values. So as you train your body, you know what it's like to optimize your body, and that prepares you for stunts or acting or building out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so every fundamental just builds on
It's
itself.
building, it's building,
That's,
building, building. Yeah.
yeah. And you're literally building, you know, this
Mm.
like skyscraper, both energetically, mentally, right? It's like this whole thing you're building. But it's all related to you. It's all you. It's all expressions of you. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You're not just doing things to do it to, necessarily make the money or da 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 da. Yeah, make money, but it's like, nah, it's innate.
Yeah.
It's in you.
It's just me. Yeah. It's me.
Oh my gosh.
It's me.
William, I just to wrap this up, and I want to thank you because it's Saturday evening. where you are, and I appreciate your time because you've really delivered like gold for all of us. So,
I
again,
hope so.
thank you, my friend. That's
Thank you for having me, Sean. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate the time.
um, is there any last thoughts or words of wisdom you want to just leave just about, you know, how you're moving forward and what you're really passionate about? And yeah, we'll wrap it up right there.
No, I just think, if you want to do something, go for it. If it's challenging, yes, it will be challenging at the beginning, but we're adaptive human beings. The human body is designed to adapt. So put yourself through something, go through something and watch your body adapt to it and watch your mind adapt to it. And that's it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Williams, thank you so much. That's amazing. Have an amazing evening. And again, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Sean. Appreciate you so much. Take it easy. Speak to you soon.